tell the pastor in the spirit of Phil, Jesus said, I have come to have life and that they may have it more abundantly. I just never liked the idea of surrounding myself with dead animal, anything dead.
I don't. For those of you watching today, because some are listening, some are watching, I am in a pastor's office in St. Augustine, Florida. It's the turning point at Calvary Church, which I'm speaking here tomorrow night, Jase, at a beast feast.
They're still doing those, Al? I thought.
There's 1,000 men. He showed me the setup. They got a spillover crowd.
You got a few beasts behind you. Look, there's a ram. If you're not watching, there's like pintails. A sprig, got a pintail behind you.
There's a massive water buffalo coming out of the wall in front of me that you guys can't see on camera. But Jase, you would love this guy. This is the pastor's study, I guess, and there are some there's a cross and a crown of thorns and things to let you know you're in a church office. But the man likes to kill large animals, and he apparently likes pintails because he has 2 sprigs and a pintail hen on the wall here in this little taxidermy shop.
Tell the pastor that Jase has never mounted an animal. I actually had this conversation yesterday to an 11-year-old boy. His dad was driving me. I was in a place, Zach, little place called North Carolina.
Heard about it.
I spoke twice at a church for Father's Day.
You weren't too far from me, Jase. You were in, I want to say, Winston-Salem, High Point, Greensboro, one of those areas.
I was in Greensboro. And, I forgive you for not coming because we had something that I dubbed yesterday that might go viral. Because we had one service, and I don't want to get them in trouble, but the place held 1,500, and they said there was 1,900 and something there. I was like, where were they? They said, we had a spillover. We had a spillover place. Well, then the second service, there was like 1,300. So we had a little room there. But then they were like, whatever you call it. What's the word, Maddie? When you film it and other groups of people are watching it, they were streaming it to 4 or 5 of their sister campuses. And one of them was in Spanish. So don't you know, they had a hard time figuring out what in the world is this bearded guy talking about. But the viral...
Did you try to launch into some of your Spanish? Do you know any Spanish, James?
Oh, I did. I did a little bit on the Spanish. I said, well, I know 2, because they told me that. I said, so welcome, I was welcome. Happy Father's Day. Welcome our Spanish listeners. I forgot to do this on the second one, but I did it on the first one.
Did you say hola?
I said, I know 2 Spanish words for you. Patos. And then I told the story about when Phil and I went to Mexico with a couple of duckmen trainees, and we hunted ducks and we filmed it. I think it was called Duckmen South. But look, all we did, this is a true story with a slight embellishment. All we would do is point and say, Patos. And so the first half a dozen times we did that, which Patos in Spanish means ducks.
Ducks, yep.
They just looked at us with a bewildered look. But we ran up on a guy. We said, Patos. And he pointed. And we could barely see a body of water down there. That was actually the best hunt we had. So anyway, the slogan I dubbed was traffic jams for Jesus. Because all the ministry team, they were like, we're going to be running late on the second one because there's the traffic. They came to me kind of like in that spirit, and I was like, this is good. And they were looking at me like, what are you talking about? I said, traffic jams for Jesus. That's a good problem when you have thousands of people trying to pour into a building to hear about Jesus. But anyway, all I was going to make the point on, tell the pastor in the spirit of Phil, Jesus said, I have come to have life and that they may have it more abundantly. I just never liked the idea of surrounding myself with dead animal, anything dead. To tell you,
you know what's funny, Jase, is I'm your older brother, and has killed my share of things through the years as well, especially when I was younger. But I've never mounted an animal either, and have basically felt just like you did. In fact, when we were living together for a few years with Anna and Jay, they lived upstairs and we lived downstairs because our house is big there in the compound. Jay had all these dead animals, but Lisa had a strict rule: no dead animals hung in my house. And so he had to hang them all at the duck call shop because she wouldn't let him. But as soon as we moved out and built this little place out back,
and they went.
It looks like a Bass Pro Shop in there when you walk in there now. I mean, you cannot fit another massive deer.
I'm not opposed to it. I just it's not my thing. I like to eat them, and
it's expensive. That's for sure.
Is it
cheap? Oh yeah.
Huh. Oh, yeah. BK, she just killed like some kind of big sheep-looking animal. It's called an oryx. And that thing was like $2,000 to mount. Crazy.
Well, what's interesting, what started this conversation is with this kid is because a woman had said to me, I was just trying to get through a door. People were talking because we were getting ready for the event. And she said, my husband does all y'all's taxidermy work. And I was like, really? I was in North Carolina. I think she got me confused with somebody else because I was like, maybe I have hunted a couple times in North Carolina. I went dove hunting one time. But two, I thought I've never mounted anything. But maybe she meant our family or whatever. But the kid was asking me about that. He's like, what's your favorite mount? And I was like, oh, I've never mounted anything. But then he felt bad because he killed his first duck this year and he mounted it. I was like, I didn't say there was anything wrong with it.
You missed a good line right there. When he said, what's your favorite mount? You should have said Mount Zion.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Mount of Transfiguration.
Or Mount of Transfiguration, that's right.
So anyway, that's that. But I will tell you one story that happened because I've noticed something. This podcast has prepared me for life. Because back when we started with the wisdom, it sounds so easy. If anybody needs wisdom, just ask God for it. So I did. That week was filled with the most difficult conversations involving relationships that I'm a part of and different things that came up. And I thought, I asked for wisdom, and then all this conflict came before me.
Starting to sound like James 1. And
well, that's what I thought. Well,
yeah.
Lo and behold, now we're to the point of everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry, which made me even uncomfortable to have a podcast about because I'm like, these are things that I struggle with.
Yeah.
So wouldn't you know it, I'm headed to North Carolina, but I'm going the day before because it's hard to get to North Carolina, Zach.
Yep.
It's just because from Monroe, you only have two options. If you're going west.
Atlanta, Dallas.
There you go.
Or you got to go to Atlanta if you're going east. And sometimes you got a little extra stop in Charlotte depending on the situation.
Well, he could have landed in Charlotte. That's where he should have. Well.
But you still got two stops.
Zach, yeah. My event was in Greensboro. The event was 5 minutes from the airport. This was perfect. This was perfect. Oh, in fact, after the event, I said, if y'all ever need me again, let me know. I don't normally do that, but I thought once I got there, that was the easiest thing in the world. It was, I was 5 minutes. So what I was going to say is, so we're leaving the day before. Well, I'm meeting with my team, along the way. It's the way it works. And we got Aunt Bonnie. She's really good at her job. And so I'm bringing her up because what happened was when I got to leave Monroe, well, it had rained earlier that morning, but there was no weather. I was supposed to leave, whatever it was, 10, 11 o'clock. Well, that came and went. They're like delayed, but never gave a reason. So we were delayed about an hour. Well, I got to looking, maybe a little more than an hour. I got to looking on my next flight, and I thought, well, I'm going to be cutting this kind of close. So I sent a text to Aunt Bonnie and said, hey, this may be close. And she's like, well, I'll be there and I'll hold the plane for you, I was like, okay, whatever. So anyway, we take off, I leave. Well, as soon as I landed, because, you don't have the cell service while you're in the flight, she's like, I've talked to the stewardess. They saw, when your plane land, you're good, but you may have to run. And I thought, no, I ain't running, But I did take off walking as fast as I could. I'm looking at the my phone, and I thought, well, I'm gonna be there about 10 to 12 minutes before it was supposed to take off. So I thought, if they're gonna hold it, that's fine. So when and everything went my way. It's like I was first off the plane. The shuttle came right up when I walked up. I thought, okay, it's just supposed to be. This is happening. I get to the terminal. Well, she calls me and she's like, run, because she's like, you got 2 minutes. Well, I'm in the turn. I'm like, well, I can make 2 minutes. So I broke the cardinal rule, took off running, and I had my hoodie on, which drew security. Because now I have a security guy chasing me, which I thought was funny. Because I thought if I could make it 2 minutes, right now all I got to do is outrun him. And then they'll get there. I'll take my hood off. Okay. And so get there and get my phone out. Security guy's there, and he just recognized me. There was nothing to that security. But I thought, oh, okay, I'm in trouble. Hey, Jase, how you doing? I was like, pretty good. I was like, I got to get on this plane right now. Because the plane's here. Bonnie's like, talk to the stewardess. Oh. So I was like, let me get my phone. And this woman here says policy, the policy. And I was like, policy, what is she talking about? I was like, I got my ticket right here. Showed her. She's like, the policy. And I was just looking at her like, but she wasn't looking at me in the eye. And then Bonnie's like, they're not going to let you on this plane. I was like, because I'm getting that from Bonnie, not this woman. She's staring off into space, mumbling policy. I said, the door's open. The plane's there. The jetway's still attached. What seems to be the problem? She said, well, the policy says we'll book you on another flight. Now, at that moment, Al, you know what popped in my head?
You want to be quick to listen, slow to speak.
Everyone, I kid you not. I literally said, everyone needs to be slow to speak, quick to listen.
I knew where you were going.
Slow to become angry. And then the famous line of Phil's popped in my head, because the last time I ran in an airport, didn't make it. I made it, but similar situation. When I got back down to Phil's and told him the story, he said, hey, Jase, always remember this. Never run in an airport. You're there to fly. And I thought, now those are words of wisdom.
They are.
You're there to fly. Never run in an airport. You're there to fly. You're not there to run. And usually it doesn't work.
I thought you were going to say, Dad would say, hey, that's why I don't fly commercial.
No, he came up with that pithy saying off the top of his head, which was
pretty
awesome.
good.
Which was awesome.
Yeah.
And you know what? I had a good attitude. I went on. I didn't even take the shuttles, because then she was like, your next gate, it's in D. It couldn't have been any further away from where I was right there. And I just moseyed on there and went to one of these little places to get some food, because they had some, I like to get stuff that's real, like fruit, cheese, crackers, stuff you can't screw up. And I took a picture with a guy while I was standing there, and the woman checking it out, she was like, are you a celebrity? I was like, so it seems, I just took a picture with a random stranger. She said, well, who are you? I was like, I'm a nobody. But at one time we had a show. It's called Duck Dynasty. She's like, I watched that as a kid. And look, Al, if you've seen the amount of stuff, overpriced stuff, that I had assimilated here, I was hungry.
Yeah.
And she said, "Oh, I'm paying for all this." I was like, "No. You don't have to do that." She's like, "Oh," she said, "I watched that as a kid, and it made me smile when I needed to smile." And I thought, well, things are looking up here. You know what I mean? It was
See, you're already getting a blessing because you responded the James way.
So then I found my gate where I had to walk and wait. It wasn't like the end of the world. A couple hours, I'm getting on another plane. And I sat down, and there was a small group of, looked like teenagers. I later found out they had just graduated high school and gone to the Bahamas. Now, I didn't know because here's how the conversation started. I sat down, and they started whispering, and I could hear Duck Dynasty and Jase in the whispering. And I said, "Are y'all just going to talk to me to my face, or are y'all going to whisper like I can't hear?" They all looked up, and they're like, "We thought that was you, but now we know it is." And I was like, "Well, how do you know?" Because of my voice. I said, "Oh, okay."
Well, one of them had probably pulled your picture up too and was taking a look at that.
It was 15 or 20 of them. And I said, "Where y'all been?" They said, "Oh, we've been in the Bahamas." And I looked out, here's 20 teenagers. I said, "Y'all went to the Bahamas for what?" And they said, "We just graduated high school." I said, "Well, how much cutting up?" I went full PR right off the bat.
Oh, it's such a Phil thing to say.
I said, "How much cutting up did you do down in the Bahamas in the last few days? I'm surprised y'all are still functional." But they just froze when I said that. And I thought, okay, well, here we go. Y'all need a sermon. So that led to, I would say, over an hour of a Jesus discussion and all sorts of issues that they asked random questions about. And look, the adults, not that they're not adults, so I guess they're adults, but the older people kind of started listening in because they were so far away from me. This was loud. So we had a terminal podcast, airplane terminal. Well, what's embarrassing and funny is when I got up, they were ready to go. I was getting up to go, and all this. Well, then the two couples, the chaperones, the parents came up and said, "That was awesome." And I was like, "Oh, y'all were with them on the Bahamas?" Well, then I thought, well, I accused them of cutting up. And they're like, "Oh, no, get them. I said, "Oh, no, they love the Lord." And, they're at church every Sunday, which was their take on that. And I thought, well, isn't that something?
Well, they had the same reaction, Jase, to you as the story about me getting the whipping for getting drunk whenever Bill's parents, they said, he looked at them and said, "Look, this is your son. I don't have to whip him right here in front of you." And they were like, "Get him, Phil.
Get him.
Whip him." So it's the same idea. You want that discipline coming.
I should have known. One of the guys said, I listened to y'all's podcast. And I was like, "Really? Well, things are looking up here, But I was thinking he's got a guilty conscience. I never got past because I didn't know there were parents there. I thought y'all lying, down there cutting up. I went full scale. How'd you get here? Biology. You know what they're telling you in biology? That it just randomly happened, life and DNA, chemical reactions. Ooh, that's what you're hanging your hat on, huh? They wouldn't say anything.
I'm kind of thinking, this old guy here is crazy.
Oh, I went just sledgehammer.
So